Hello and welcome to the new Plough Lane, where AFC Wimbledon is taking on Preston in the Capital One Cuppity Cup. It's the least important of all the major competitions in England, but therefore also the one that we are most likely to win. So let's do our best. We are here in the first round of the Capital One Cup. I am nervous and anxious because our team has not been playing well. However, I have changed around our formation. Look at this, 3-4-3. Adebayo Akinfenwa, Taylor the Swift, John Green, and then in the middle we've got Bullman. I don't have a good name for Bullman yet. And other John Green. We've got Frankenstein out on the right wing. We've got Callum Kennedy and his much improved FIFA 15. Is it FIFA 15 or FIFA 16? What year are we in? FIFA 16 hair. And on the whole, I'm feeling something akin to hope. I wouldn't say it's hope exactly. Speaking of which, today's topic comes from Anand, who donated to the Project for Awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. My microphone is slowly moving down, but if it sounds weird, don't worry. It's really, do you watch for the commentary? No, you watch for the incredibly incisive football. Lots of space, which we didn't have before. That's to Akinfenwa! No. Anand's question is, I would like, or topic, he donated to the Project for Awesome, or she donated, or they donated to the Project for Awesome. I'm sorry, I did not mean to gender you. I apologize. Anand's question, or topic is, I'd like John to talk about gun laws in the United States and whether he thinks they are too relaxed or too strict. I don't know of a lot of people who think that they're too relaxed. I know of a lot of people who think that they shouldn't be made stricter. But it seems to me a difficult argument that they shouldn't be relaxed because with the right permits, you can own a tank that shoots missiles and stuff as a civilian. The short answer is that I think that they are too relaxed and that they should be made more strict, significantly more strict. I think that I'm not, a lot of people on the left would argue for more gun control legislation than I would argue for. I do think that the Constitution of the United States is pretty clear, and I think that the Constitution, there's a reason so the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states that that the government will not infringe upon the rights of its citizens to bear arms. The idea of this, when it was back in the 18th century, was that the right to bear arms would be a protection against government tyranny. That with good reason, the colonists and the people were very afraid of big government that would sort of impinge upon their freedoms, and they felt, and again with good evidence, that over time, governments tend to become stronger and tend to seek to kind of exert their will over the people, and that they saw this right to bear arms as one among many of the ways that this new country would remain free, rather than having a sort of tyrannical government at its core. And there's some logic to that, right? Like the army is less likely to attack you if you have all the same weapons that the army has, or less likely to try to exert its will over you if it can't, because you are equally well armed to the army. The problem, and I think this is a big problem with that ideological argument, is that that ship has sailed in America, because you can't buy tactical nuclear weapons at Walmart. And we all live in a world where the government has access to weaponry that no handgun or AK-47 or any of that is going to provide any meaningful, damn it, I've got to get better at corner kicks, any meaningful protection against. So like, that to me is the ideological argument falls apart in two ways. First, I don't think that the right to bear arms is keeping the size of the American government or the size of its military in check. I don't think that it's, making it so that American citizens have liberty they wouldn't otherwise have. And so I don't. And then the second reason that the ideological argument falls apart for me is that I don't really think. I don't find. Oh, it has to be! It has to be! And it is! Akinfenwa Beast Mode on. He's big, he's round, he's worth 10 million pounds. Akinfenwa. Oh, other John Green set up his husband, bald John Green, the man he loves more than any other. Hold on, I'm going to try to fix my microphone. And then it was just an absolutely a poacher's finish from Akinfenwa, a prototypical poacher's finish. You heard me sing. I'll sing some more. I don't have a second song for you yet, but I'll get one because you are a beast. That's his Twitter phrase, beast mode on. And they, yeah. So, you know what, when Adebayo Akinfenwa was asked what his favorite song about him was, Meredith, you know what he said? He said, I really love the songs the Wimbledon supporters sing about me. They sing, they've got all these great songs about me. But I kind of, my favorite song is one that opponents sing about me, which is, "You're just a fat Eddie Murphy." So he said that was his favorite song that gets sung about him. He says he thinks it's very funny, and that when he was growing up, people often told him that he looked like Eddie Murphy. I mean, he looks like Eddie Murphy, but with like 250 extra pounds. Anyway, yeah. So the other reason the ideological argument falls apart for me, if I haven't said this, is that I don't find ideology particularly compelling in the face of like massive amounts of data. And the data is that gun violence is a public health issue in the United States because it is so prevalent. And I don't just mean homicides by gun, which get by far the most attention. I also mean suicides by gun. In places that have stricter gun legislation, you do see a significantly lower suicide rate. And a lot of that, I mean, obviously, it's incredibly hard to tease this stuff out because of correlation and causation, and I don't want to make the mistake of saying that, like, we know that this is because of X or it's because of Y, but, like, this is something you see across the board around the world, especially in Australia. Australia is sort of the best test case we have because they introduced very strict gun control legislation, and since then they've seen fewer gun homicides, fewer overall homicides, but the place where you see the real statistical difference that it's difficult to argue isn't just kind of like the noise of small sets of data being difficult to figure out is in the suicide rate. I do think that, to me, there's some common sense gun control legislation that makes a lot of sense to me. The first one is that right now you can buy a gun in the United States without any kind of background check if you buy it at a gun show, and there are thousands of these gun shows all around the U.S. I don't think that should be the case. Also, right now you can buy a gun if you're on a terrorist watch list. I don't think that should be the case. I mean, some of this stuff seems very obvious to me. I also don't think that you should be able to buy fully automatic weapons or weapons that are easily made fully automatic. Oh, God! Oh, great job there. Great reach. I like our 3-4-3 or 3-5-3 a little bit better than what we had before. I don't think that you should be able to buy. I don't think there's a need for large magazine clips. Again, I don't buy this ideological argument, and so a lot of the things that are used to justify it, like being able to have these large magazines for semi-automatic rifles and everything, I don't see that as contributing to the public good, and I do think that it's dangerous. I know this is a touchy subject, and I want to emphasize that I might be wrong about any of this, but I do think that you should be able to own guns, and I even think, oh no, maybe you shouldn't be able to own guns. So as soon as I said that, Preston scored. Frickburger! Bar! Maybe we need to make a substitution, Meredith. Maybe that's what's holding us back. Taylor the Swift is a little tired. Hockenfenn got to stay in there. He's our best hope. I'm going to do that for starters. And then I'm going to bring on Aziz. Nope. I'm going to bring on Elliot. Elliot doesn't have a good nickname yet, but I think he'll do well out there. I think he'll do well out there in the corner. And then I think that's all we're going to do for now. But we'll see. We'll see. We need to win this game. This is ridiculous. This is the first round of the Capital One Cup. Come on. We got a great goal from Akinfenwa. We need to make this work. So I do think I don't think the issue really is with gun ownership. There are lots of countries that have higher or extremely high rates of gun ownership, like Canada, for instance, that have extremely low rates of gun violence. The gun ownership rate in the United States has been going up a lot in the last... Oh! That was almost it. Has been going up a lot in the last 30 years, but the gun homicide rate has declined dramatically by almost half in the last 30 years. So I don't think it's as simple as... and then, advocates for gun ownership say, well, that shows that more guns equals less gun crime. I don't think that's true at all. And again, I think that there's, this is... You can't confuse correlation and causation. But I also don't think that you can say that there is a strict causative relationship between gun ownership and gun violence. Like most people who own guns, many of whom are in my family, do not experience gun violence in their lives and use those guns for hunting and I don't know, all the other stuff that people use guns for, shooting targets. And I don't think so I think that a lot of times we, in the United States, because it is such a politically divisive issue, we have a way of framing it as an either or. Either they're going to take your guns, or we need to have full absolute liberty to buy guns whenever we want, for whomever we want. With no questions asked and no training and I think that I live in the middle, I guess. I understand that the Constitution, which is a very important document in the United States, very clearly says that citizens should be allowed to own guns, and I don't think that that's problematic, really. We are in deep trouble. Deep trouble! Whew, we have relied a lot on our posts the last few games, it must be said. All right, we're going attacking. It's the 88th minute. We've probably got... Well, that was a terrible kick, James. I expect more from you. We've probably only got one last attack. Maybe it's Preston that has one last attack. No! Everything worked out better than expected. That was nervous. That was nervous. I think we're going to try to pass it out of the back this time because the other way didn't work. Yep. John Green, go! Go, John Green! Go, John Green! Go! No! God! Oh, Meredith, he needs to be a little bit faster. Is that the end of the game? Or do we have to play on into extra time because it's the Capital One Cuppity Cup? What's happening here? There's beautiful ball, John Green. He's never looked better. What happened? Resume match. Oh, our greatest fears, Meredith. We're going to extra time. All right. You know what? It was never going to be easy to get our first regular season win, guys. Okay? We are an underfunded, fan-owned club managed by someone who has no idea how to play this radically different version of FIFA. We've got to put this win together. We've got to do it for each other and for the Wimbledon supporters who have fought so hard. Damn it! It's a disaster. It's an absolute unmitigated disaster, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a goal scored by Preston, and now all we can hope for is that we can find a goal, which has been very hard to come by, it must be said, and find a way to get... Nope! Find a way to get a goal and get to penalties, and then everybody knows that Wimbledon is great at penalties. Except that Shea has actually never saved one. But, there's a first time for everything. Okay. All right. I just got to focus on the game now. Let's put aside petty issues, gun legislation in the United States. I do find it ridiculous that we can't have some kind of like a common sense, rational conversation about gun legislation in the United States, and then instead we end up with these, these ridiculous sort of, lots of ad hominem attacks and straw man arguments and just the overall terrible quality of discourse. Get in the net! Get in the net! Own goal! It's my favorite kind of goal! Yes! Oh, you scored on yourself! You scored on yourself! Suck it, Preston! You scored on yourself! Oh, Callum Woods, you have suffered a tremendous setback, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Oh, and now Preston is broken, and we're going to go from 2-1 down to 3-2 up. That's the way we're going to win this cup. Come on, boys. Let's win it. Let's win it. We can do this. All right. Okay. They scored on themselves, Meredith. It's my favorite kind of goal. I've got some hope. I'm feeling it. We've got momentum. We've got some tired legs out there. But we've also got Adebayo and Fenwa. No, he chose not to make that run. He's a little exhausted. But I still like him as a target man. I still think he's the right guy for the job right now. Oh, boy. That's out of bounds. It goes to Ball John Green. Ball John Green, look for one of your friends. Look for maybe even... Nope. I wasn't going to... I don't know why you did that. But it's okay. It's okay. We're going to figure this game out together. Oh! 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 Who scored the goal? I don't even know who you are. I love you. I don't know your name. 2-1 down to 3-2 up. That's the way we're going to win the cup. We were 2-1 down. We're going to win 3-2. Wow, that was the wrong note. I hit a note, and I hit it hard, but it wasn't the note that I was looking for. Who scored the goal, Meredith? Did you see? I thought I took out Taylor the Swift. Nobody knows. He's got a great haircut. The kid's got a future. What's your name, sir? Danny Bowman! We need a name for him. The bull man in the china shop? Maybe we could call him the Centaur because he's half bull, half man. But isn't that a horse? I don't know. What's a half cow, half man? You've got Google over there on that computer. Oh, we gotta wait. We gotta not lose the game, guys. Don't lose the game. Okay, we're going defensive. We gotta go defensive. Just defensive, please. Not ultra defensive. Just defensive. Okay. Oh, man, that was an exciting goal. I think that might mark a turnaround in the Wimbly Womblys season. We went down in extra time. Things looked very dark for a moment, and then we got to play smart, and good things happened. Yes, I love that. I love the way that you just opened up the space, Akinfenwa. And then Ball John Green, he's not afraid to take it to the corner. But why not try to score? Wow, that was not a good cross. That's why you don't try to score. Now I remember. That's why. All right. Advance, we did it. It's over. Hooray! Congratulations to the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys who came from 2-1 down to win 3-2 in extra time. Hope is the thing with feathers. Thank you for watching. Best wishes.